guys, welcome to a new art video. Today I'm going to start off with a quick schedule update and then we can move straight on to the fun part. If you've been subscribed to me for a while, you know I used to post every single week. Things started getting super duper busy, so I stopped and haven't been able to post consistently ever since. I'm going to be trying to post more consistently, but I hate to break the news to you, I will not be able to post every week anymore. It's probably going to be more like once a month. But if the schedule for the month is a little less filled, I'll probably post a second video, and if that is the case, that'll be a pleasant surprise, and if I'm not able to post in the month, I will let you know. Let's get on to the video. Guys, you see how important this is? You made it to the fun part. Thank you. Welcome, and congratulations. So, today you're probably pretty confused, because you're probably like, oh, don't ya know she's supposed to post on a Saturday? Why is she posting on a Wednesday? And so I will explain myself and all the guilt I have. I'm kidding. I'm not guilty at all. It is a very special day for a very special person. Yes, it is my favorite singer's 40th birthday, so of course I'm going to be drawing him, and also making up for the horrible Astoria fan art I made in my second vlog. So feel free to draw along with me, and let's get into the video.
So today I started off as I usually start off, just rough sketching the face. I had to grab my iPad because I realized I have no idea how to draw from memory. I ended up making the sketch a little bigger. Let's cut to that right now. That is much better. The one thing that I noticed while looking at the reference photo is he's got very interesting proportions. It's nothing negative. He's got proportions that are really fun to draw. I'm just saying no two snowflakes are the same, and he's one very special snowflake. I really like how this drawing turned out in the end, but it took so long because I was just trying to get the proportions right. I did end up making his eyes a little too big, but he won't see this. Even if he did, I don't think he'd care. To be completely honest with you, I did change the facial shape multiple times because I just wasn't happy with the first product, but it did end up looking good in the end. The one thing that I'm really happy about is the nose, because I usually have a really hard time with noses, especially a button nose, but like again, his proportions are super duper interesting, and his nose is like, you don't see a nose like his every day, and it was actually very easy to draw. I just realized it's super duper creepy talking about someone's nose, so I will stop in my tracks. One of the things I had a really hard time with was drawing his eyebrows, because I wanted to make this a little more realistic than I usually do it, because his eyebrows are thicker than the eyebrows that I usually draw, and I wanted to make it look good, but I couldn't get his eyebrows quite right. I tried again and again, but like it took me a while to get eyebrows that I was somewhat happy with, and now I'll stop talking about his eyebrows because that's also very creepy. I just came to the conclusion I am an artist and I should be able to talk about the proportions I am drawing, so I will talk about them as much as I want, but I will try not to be creepy. Another thing I had a really hard time with was getting his hairline right. He has like a taller forehead. Again, I don't hate it. He looks good with a taller forehead, but it was so hard because I made it way too high at first. You saw when I was drawing the hairline, it was like 1,000,000 times higher than it is now. It took me a while to figure that one out, and then getting the hair just right was pretty difficult. One rookie mistake I made was not waiting for the line art to dry long enough, and so it smudged a little bit, but at least it wasn't enough to draw the seer's eye to the smudged line art. The one thing I'm really sad about is that the marker that I was using is drying out. I've had these markers for like a year now. I got them for my birthday last year, and now I'm gonna need new ones because this marker is drying out, and I absolutely love the marker and I use it for like everything, so that's really sad. The hair took me forever to figure out because like I started using that bright blue, but then I realized it's more of a teal color where he dyed it. And so I did end up using a teal color. It took me forever to find the teal color, but I did end up eventually finding it. And the hair, just like, I've never drawn black hair before, so that was really difficult to draw too. At this point, I was using blue and purple to make the highlights for the hair, and I wondered, what if he had actually dyed his hair like this and ended up looking like a unicorn? That would be pretty scary. Shout out to Josh for not dyeing his hair like a unicorn. Yes, Josh Ramsay is my favorite singer, and I'd be lying to say Mariana's Trench was not my favorite band. Not only are they my favorite band because it's nostalgic, in fact, my earliest memory was like I was 5 listening to Ever After with my family, and my brother was afraid of the first Vox thingy in Truth or Dare. That was hilarious. He burst into tears. He was horrified. Anyways, not only is it very nostalgic, but it has a variety that you don't get from any other artist. Even if they borrow sounds from other songs or bands that they like, it still sounds like them because they give it a twist that makes it what it is. Having absolute zero experience with black hair and shading it, I had a really hard time, and it still didn't end up looking fantastic, but I am happy with how it turned out for the most part because this is my first time actually drawing it. I'm also really happy how the shading turned out because, like, I don't have very much experience with shading, so I just kind of winged it and looked at the reference really carefully as well. Because I'm very, very bad with shading, but it did end up looking really, really good, in my opinion. Also, if you have any tips on shading, please let me know, because I am very much a beginner, and even though I like this, I know that I have very many areas to improve. So, yeah, thanks for that in advance. At this point, I'm trying to blend everything out so it doesn't look as streaky and awkward, because I do not like streaky, awkward drawings, okay? So this part took me a long time. It took me like 5 minutes to find the gray marker I wanted because I wasn't looking carefully enough, and I probably should have worn my glasses, but I did not because I am a very lazy person and I do not like wearing things that hurt my face. One thing I'm very glad I learned that you should know if you're considering getting alcohol-based markers is that you need to layer a lot to get the right texture of the color and to make it less streaky. You also need to layer a lot to get the right shading, because if you don't layer, it's gonna look very, very patchy and again, very, very streaky. So keep that in mind, or else your drawing will be an absolute disaster unless you want it to be that way. As you can see, I need a little practice with my shading and my layers because it ended up being a little bit chaotic, but everyone likes a perfect disaster. And I will be as bold to say, especially me. As you can plainly see, I had to grab the pen again to draw that collar thingy on his coat because I had completely forgotten to draw it in the line art. I have that all the time where I just take out an entire section of the line art and have to draw it in post. This is just about the time I realized I could use the blue over the teal and make a good darker teal color. And so I even put a little teal over it afterwards. Then I added a little detail to the eyes. And so that was a really fun thing to do. I do want to let you know, drawing the pupils near the end was entirely intentional because I wanted to get the color just right and not make the pupils too big so that I wouldn't be able to do the color, because I think the eyes are my favorite part to color. And as you can see, there's a little gray tint by the chin. I tried to draw the tiny beard that he probably was growing or something, and I did try to save it. Oh, it's so embarrassing, but hey, can't change the past. Not with alcohol markers. Isn't signing a drawing just so satisfying? Because not only does it just give you a sense of accomplishment, but also squiggling in your signature is really fun. And of course I wrote a caption over the drawing because I do that all the time, and I drew a random 40 because, yeah, duh, he's 40. Then this is where I realized I didn't add highlights, so I grabbed my Sharpie creative markers to go over just a couple mistakes, draw the buttons orange, and make it look better in a couple different ways and save a couple things. After this sick yet inconvenient transition, you will see that this is how the drawing turned out. I really appreciate you watching this. Thank you so much. Please make sure to like and subscribe and share with your friendsies. Bye!